Pause for reading 3. Save Floppy. The last magic adventure had gone wrong. Floppy had been left behind. A giant bird had flown off with him. That was because a horrid genie had escaped from a bottle. And it was all my fault, said Biff. We've got to rescue Floppy, said Chip. We must go back into the adventure. But we can't make the key glow, said Biff. I know, said Chip, but we must try. We have to find a way to get the genie back into the bottle. Biff and Chip looked at the magic key. Oh, if only it would go, said Biff. Then the magic key began to glow. The magic took the children back into the last adventure. The magic took them to an island. Biff had been there before. It was the island where the giant bird had flown away with Floppy. Karma was still there. He was with his father, Hazan. Hazan and Karma were mending their boat. Karma ran to meet them. You have come back, he said to Biff. Where have you been? You wouldn't believe it, said Biff, if even we told you. This is my brother, Chip, said Biff. We have to come back to rescue Floppy. Karma shook his head. That will be very dangerous, he said. The giant bird took him up to the top of that mountain. I know, said Biff, and that's where we're going. We must get up there as fast as we can. Stop, shouted Karma. Don't go. Have you forgotten about the evil genie? We'll worry about him later, said Chip. Biff and Chip went as fast as they could, but it was hard work. They had to climb over big rocks. At last they came to the mountain. Biff was tired. She sat on a rock for a rest. The mountain looked steep and rocky. How can we climb up? Asked Biff. Then Chip found a dry up the stream. Come on, called Chip. This gully looks an easy way up. Biff and Chip began to climb up the gully. Suddenly there was a loud noise and a terrible smell. It was the evil genie. He was standing at the top of the gully. Ha! I can soon get rid of you, he shouted. The genie clapped his hands. Water began to gush down the gully. Biff and Chip had no time to climb out. The water rushed towards them. Quickly, Biff, climb onto this rock and hang on, called Chip. Biff and Chip hung onto the rock. The water rolled past them. Biff and Chip were frightened. What are we going to do? Shouted Biff. I don't know, called Chip. It's too far to jump to safety. Then they saw Karma. He had followed them to the mountain. Hang on, he shouted. I'll soon have you safe. He threw a rope across the gully. It caught on a branch on the other side. Biff and Chip climbed to safety on the rope. We're so pleased to see you, said Biff. I thought we'd never get off that rock. The evil genie did this, said Chip. It's a good job when I did, said Karma. I came to help you rescue Floppy. They began to climb the mountain again. Biff and Chip were pleased that Karma had come to help them. The giant bird was flying high above them. What have you done with Floppy? yelled Biff crossly. It took a long time to get to the top of the mountain. At last they reached the nest of the giant bird. Ugh, said Chip. Look at all this bone. I hope the bird hasn't eaten Floppy. Floppy, called Biff. Where are you? Then they saw Floppy. He was fast asleep and he had a content look on his face. In front of him was a pile of bones. Oh, Floppy, said Biff. Wake up. Floppy woke up and wagged his tail. We must get back quickly, said Karma. The evil genie may use his power again. I'm glad we're going, thought Floppy, but I'm sorry I can't take all the lovely bones. They went down the mountain as fast as they could. Then they saw Hazan. He had come to look for them. I'm so glad I found you, he said. I've been worried about you. We're all safe, said Karma, and we have rescued the Floppy. Hassan was worried. He looked at Karma. The genie may use his powers again. We must get away from the island as quickly as we can, he said. They began to load things into the boat. Chip looked at the old chest on the beach. It had been washed in the storm. I don't know what's inside it, said Hassan. It could be treasure. Why don't you open it? Asked Chip. I don't have a key, said Hassan. Chip had an idea. Lend me the magic key, Biff, he said. He put the key in the lock and turned it. The lid of the chest sprang open. Everyone looked in the chest, but it was completely empty. Suddenly there was a cracking sound and a terrible smell of old torn socks. The evil genie appeared. Ha! He shouted. You have escaped my powers too many times. Now I'll deal with you once and for all. Chip thought a way to trick the genie. Quickly he shut the lid of the chest. Why did you shut the chest? Asked the genie. What's inside it? It's something very valuable, said Chip. It is treasure? Asked the genie. It's a lot more valuable than treasure, said Chip. The genie looked in the chest. There's nothing valuable in here, he shouted. Oh, but there is, said Chip. You are just not looking hard enough. The genie bent down into the chest to look. Suddenly, Chip pushed the genie into the chest and slammed down the lid. Then he locked it with the magic key. How dare you, shouted the genie. You'll pay for this when I get out. But you can't get out, called the Chip. Oh, yes, I can, shouted the genie. I can't get out of bottles, but it's easy to get out of a chest. But you're locked in, said Chip. We don't believe you can get out. I'll use my powers, said the genie. The genie made himself thin and started to slip through the keyhole. Chip held the bottle over the keyhole, and the genie slid into it. He fell from a trick, said Chip. I thought he would. Hassan and Karma shook Chip's hand. That was brilliant, Chip, said Karma. The genie is safely in the bottle. Now we can all go home. I'm glad it was all right in the end, said Biff, and I'm glad Floppy is safe. The magic key began to glow. It was time to glow. I bet Floppy hated this adventure, said Chip. Floppy looked at them both. I don't know, he thought. I quite enjoyed it, really. The magic took them home. Kipper ran into Biff's room. Hooray, you rescued the Floppy, he said. What happened to the evil genie? We'll put back him into the bottle, said Chip. The children looked at the little chest. I'm glad the bottle didn't come back from the adventure, said Kipper. Biff tried to lift the lid of the chest, but it wouldn't open. And now the key won't fit, she laughed.